We would like to introduce our first speaker, who has a great experience when it comes to creating innovative value and has worked with several different organizations to unleash their potential. Continuous innovation within digitalization is necessary for sustainability, and we will now learn how to work with this in a systematic way. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Asif Akram. Woohoo! Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much for really nice talks and nice words. So all of you have heard already seen that if we can create zeros and ones, they can save the world. Yes, we have seen that in coronavirus. They have saved many of the businesses to some extent. And that's it. End of discussions. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, but the real questions come, yeah, they can save the world, but how? Everyone knows like the devil lies in the detail, and that's where the details comes about. So today I will be trying to shed some light on how we can do that. We are all talking about the innovation, the digitalization that is happening, but what is happening around that part and how we can benefit from it? So that will be the part of this one. We have seen this in like small sensors or technology that is being embedded in every products. So that's like the departing point for, and also the context of my study is also, I will not be just talking softwares as a standalone, but when they are embedding with these digital physical products. So that gave them this capability to generate new kind of information about those physical products and then their use. And we have seen that like from very traditional camera, from when we were taking the pictures, doing negative, to these digital and even now on mobile, to having like the smartwatches, and if we see even with the cars and all different kind of industries and products we are talking about. And what is happening with this thing? It's redefining the industry boundaries. It means the boundary of this whole industry is spanning. So it goes from one very much physical product and having like one small system or one small sensor to that product, to connecting it to more mobiles, and also then creating one ecosystem and then different ecosystems. They are also collaborating with each other. And that's how the complexity keep on increasing with these things. So then that means that we have like some trends that, for example, this digitalization is happening. And most of the companies now, they are talking about like services that they can create and also offer services to the customer. So, but to offer that, what you need to do is that you're reckoning the innovation potential of these different products, digital products, or digitalized products, I would say. And these industries boundaries, they are spanning. But what does that require? We need new kind of business strategies, new kind of ways how to create value out of these. And that's all the companies they are talking about and they are struggling with. One of the concepts that I introduced with this, I call it not only digital innovation, but also digital service innovation. So that could be service innovation based on digital technology, or could be digital innovation where the service industry can also be revolutionized. And it has like few important components like the digital technology, the physical products, the services that can be developed because of the data, and also one concept that I will be talking about, value network as a means or tools of creating value with these digital services. I have worked in a couple of projects. It's from EU project that was based on the digitalization of logistics services. So the whole idea was in the logistic to share information in the real time. So logistic is mostly about flow of information and flow of goods, and they both are interdependent. So that was one of the project called like IOLIX, where I was involved more in the evaluation and also setting the directions, what could be the key challenges in the future in respect to different technologies. Then another one was with Volvo. You heard a few guys from Volvo, and you will hear more people from Volvo, but I'm talking about Volvo groups, where we talked about this remote diagnostic technology. For example, if you have like buses in here, and they are embedded, the traditional buses, they are embedded with this sensor technology. They already have like these ECU, electronic control units. And based on that, you can get like a lot of information that can, due to this wireless technology, can be transferred to some back office where you have data analysts and these kind of people, business analysts and data analysts, mainly working in here. And then you can get different kind of like information about that. We all know about that. But then the next part is like what we can do with that information. We have got like this information or data as a new fuel. It's a new crude oil that you can use to develop different kind of informations. I will not go so much into detail into that, but just, sorry, it looks like I'm a little bit, yeah. So some of the services that we can do is like fleet, that can be related to fleet management of buses, different kind of sports services to the customers. And when we talk about sports services, so if Volvo is providing these kind of services, like maintenance, for example, services, so they can provide different kind of services for the buses, bus companies, which are transport operating companies like West Traffic and Nobina, Arriva, and these kind of companies. So we have seen that also in Volvo trucks, this Dynafleet, they have been working on this. So what is happening in this digital transformation in the automotive sector, for example? That's just one example. So I think it would be a good idea to talk through one example. So if we see, we have two parts of one rectangle. One part is products, and the other part is services. And traditionally, major of the business is happening in here, in the product part, and very little share on the services. With this sensor technology, or when this digitalization is coming into play, they can think they can move from this direction, more product-focused business, to more solution-oriented, where the share of service is also increased, and also they can sell more products. So that's the business aspect. So that's the vision that they came up many years ago, and then they are also still struggling with that. So what is happening in there, we got like digital embedded physical products. I talked about that. So, and moving from product focus to more solution oriented businesses. But the question, as I mentioned in the beginning, how to move forward. And that's many companies, they are also talking about that. And one way to move forward is like business value. That's like one thing that I will be focusing on. So for me, the way forward, I would see when you try to explore value, there are like 4 parts of that value, this whole life cycle of value creation. Like you try to explore the value, you conceptualize, and these 2 parts normally happen through value networks. You have like different techniques and tools and methods to do it. And then you propose value through business models, and then value is created when actually people are using that kind of technology. So these are just some methods that we can use in different stages of value creation life cycle. So that's how but one thing, this is not cyclic, this is cyclic, this is not a linear process. So I mean, the first step in that is to know who are the key stakeholders. So I did some key stakeholder mapping. I will not go into the detail of this key stakeholders mapping. It's just to show you there are different kind of like OEM and parts manufacturer, and then you have like some firms who are providing some services mainly related to the maintenance and planning. Then you have a bus operating company. We have like public transport authority, customers, and many other like stakeholders that are part of it. And there are two important things when we talk about value creation or value networks. It's like the roles, which means which companies or departments or even individuals are part of it, and the relationship between them. And this relationship is mainly based on their kind of like tangible and intangible exchanges, which means economic and non-economic kind of exchanges that we were talking about. This is just to show you, how it has, we were developing these kind of value networks in the second stage. In the first stage, we were doing customer need analysis and using Canos model and all these things. And in the second stage, then I developed together with the customers, with the Volvo people and other people, these kind of networks, and then just to show them more graphically good. So then the next step, after mapping out stakeholder analysis, mapping out through value network, then there are some analysis that are done. There are different techniques on analysis, exchange analysis, which means what kind of exchanges that is happening, both economic and non-economic. And when we talk about data, so then we talk about a lot of non-economic or intangible exchanges, which can be the knowledge about the customer that comes through customer feedback, the loyalty of the customer and trust, and all these kind of things. And then there is also another stage, which is like impact analysis of value realization, what kind of impact it will have on the solution that is providing. And then you display the data graphically. That's also one of the thing. The next step in the value realization cycle was value proposition. So in value network, we explore and conceptualize the value, and we represent visually. In value, in business model, then we propose the value. So that's what we have done in here. So as I mentioned, that we have like different kind of exchanges. There are economic value exchanges where you sell some product or solution and you get money for it. And then there is another one. You have like knowledge, for example, and you sell that knowledge, or mostly like consultancy companies, they do like this. But then the other part which I was talking about is relationship building. And that's also that you convert some tangible, for example, services, into some intangible, which is more kind of a knowledge about that, and intangible to intangible conversion. So I will not go, but main point in here is to realize that there are economic value, but also relationship building. So these value networks also provide you one tool. This is one of the tools to build that one, because in service business, we talk a lot about these things. And based on that, there was like this model, the product use, when you have sensor, you have information about that, then you can create new digital services. And these new digital services, you can combine and recombine all the data. And then you get like a new kind of like digital intangibles. So I talked in a reverse circle, but it's more kind of like in this one. You get like product, you use the product, you get knowledge, information about that, you combine and recombine, and then you create new services, and these new services also have impact on the product, how you use the product. But this value creation has impacts on different roles and organization or department plays on the exchanges, what kind of exchanges and what kind of relationships we are talking about. So some lessons that I learned in the whole process was like the roles, they are always dynamic. We talked about prosumer, like consumer having producer and consumer's role, and the same goes for the manufacturer as well. And some of the organization, they try to acquire a strategic control position in here, in the whole network. For relationship, for this solution, what they need to do, they need to develop from more wide to deep relationships. So it's not only superficial. It's not like that you sell the product and then the business is done. You have to develop more because you also have the service part. And we all know that's very much based on the relationships. And the last thing is that you go to like new kind of digitally enabled, intangible, which means information. This one. So what does it require for companies on the, as a whole, on the very management level? You require new kind of collaborations with the different actors. And then new stakeholders, they emerge while old dies away. And then also new way of logic, new logic of conducting business. That's also most important. The logic of conducting a service, a product-oriented business or like solution-oriented business, they are different. But however, it's not an easy journey. There are many tensions that comes. For example, we were talking about you use one product like Neudigence. You are using it and then you're reusing it. But that could be contradictory logic to the product-oriented, which is based on selling more and more individual units. So, but if you are using more maintenance part, so then you might be earning some money on service part, but then you will be losing on the product part. So these are some of the considerations that for the organizations on the generic level that they have to do. So with that, I will conclude. I have 4 minutes for question answers, I hope.